The modules are accounting, assurance, principles of taxation, law, management information, and what is that last one? Law. Did I say law? So today's video is not about personal development, it's not about self-growth. We're going to be looking at something slightly different. What we're going to be looking at is a qualification, an accountancy qualification called the ACA. If you want to know more, stay tuned. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aditi for anyone that is new. Today I'm going to be doing a video on the ACA. It's a qualification that is offered by the accountancy body called the icaew, and the qualification that I'm currently studying is the cfab, which stands for the Certificate in Finance, Accounting and Business. I'm going to go into depth on what it actually is, why people do these qualifications, and tips and tricks for the exam if you're doing the same qualification. And yeah, what I've been doing personally, because I think some of you will be interested in that. Firstly, what is the ACA, what is the icaew, and what is the cfab? Let's break it down. So I've kind of already mentioned that the accountancy body is called the icaew, and that offers a qualification called the ACA. I can't lie, I don't remember what that stands for, but I think it's like Associated Chartered Accountancy. There's a kind of like sub-qualification from that called the cfab. So the ACA is done by anyone that wants to train to become a chartered accountant, a fully qualified accountant basically. What it entails is 450 days, working days, of like on-the-job training in the workplace, that sort of thing. That's one element. The second element is ethics. The third element is professional development, and then the fourth element is the 15 exams you have to take. That I think is the main thing. So I'm going to be talking about the exams today. The sub-qualification I was talking about is the cfab. You can do the cfab as a qualification alone, or you can do the cfab as part of the ACA. Most people do it as part of the ACA, and that's what I'm planning to do as well. Oh, I also didn't mention the salary that comes out of doing the qualification. They can get 100,000 up. There are some people that get 130,000, that sort of thing. This is all listed on their website, by the way, so it's coming from icaew themselves. But let's go into a bit more about each exam and what the exams are actually called. The cfab is basically the first 6 modules of the ACA. The exams that count as part of that are business, technology and finance, law, management information, principles of taxation, accounting and assurance. You can do them in any order that you like, as long as you get them done. There are set orders that you can do them in. That kind of just depends on if you're doing it yourself, you're self-studying, or you're doing it with a tuition provider. Someone I know did it with a tuition provider, and he did accounting and assurance together, and then he did another duo together and another duo together. So if you're self-studying, you can literally just do it in any order, but I do think some orders are better than others. Next, let's talk about the professional level. The professional level is another 6 exams, and they build on the last 6. So I'm going to read them out here, and you'll kind of understand what I mean by the fact that they build on the last 6. So we have financial management, financial accounting and reporting, audit and assurance, tax compliance, business planning and business strategy and technology. So we have tax compliance, which relates to principles of taxation. Financial accounting and reporting obviously links to accounting. You get the gist. So it's very fundamental that you do the certificate level first, then you do the professional level, and then you do the advanced level, which we're going to talk about in a minute. icaew have said themselves that the business planning and the business strategy and technology modules are harder than the other ones. They kind of tend towards the advanced level, but again, you can choose which order you do them in. Then finally we have the advanced level. So this is actually only 3 exams. So first of all, we have the case study, which basically takes a complex business problem and requires you to use all the knowledge that you built up until this point and apply it. Then we have the corporate reporting module and the strategic business management module, and those two are about complex decision making at a senior level. So those are the 15 exams. Now let's talk about the exam format. The certificate level exams are 1.5 hours each, and the format of the exams depends on the module itself. So for example, the accounting exam has 24 or 25 multiple choice questions, and then like a big scenario type question, whereas the assurance module, all of it is multiple choice. So you have to look into the exam format yourself for that. They are computer based and you can book them literally whenever you like, as long as it's free. For the professional level, these are slightly longer exams. These range from 2.5 hours to 3 hours, depending on the exam itself. I imagine they're computer based as well, but I would recommend that you check that one. For these ones, there's only 4 sittings throughout the year, so you have to take the exam in one of these 4 sittings. The advanced level, the icaew haven't actually said on their website what the length of the exams are and things like that, so I think you'd have to do some deeper research into that one. So now it's time to talk about me and how this all relates to me. Why am I making a video on this? Over the past year, I've been taking a gap year, by the way. I have been studying for some of the ACA modules, and the thing is, the cfab modules, the first 6 modules, are equivalent to a first year university degree. Like, that's the level. So that means that actually I am very well suited to do that, because if I hadn't taken a gap year, I'd be in my first year anyway. I've done so far the assurance module. I did that back in February, I think. And more recently I did the accounting module, and now I'm studying for the principles of taxation module. For the business, technology and finance module and the law module, as long as I take the relevant modules at university, I can get exemptions for those, so I don't actually have to do them now. At university I can also get an exemption for the financial management module as part of the professional level. So you can see that the modules I'm doing right now and the ones that I'm going to get exemptions from, hopefully, it actually works out quite nicely for after I graduate, because I'll have to do less modules then. I've just been self-studying and that's worked pretty well for me. For the accounting exam though, I did get a short-term tutor just to go over some questions, but I'm gonna go into like how to revise for the exams like in a few minutes. But they do say that the first 6 modules can be done within a year. So if you are thinking of taking a gap year, try and think about it from the very start and try and do it from the very start. Okay, so now let's go on to the tips. I'm sure this is what a lot of you have been waiting for. Firstly, I'm going to talk about the revision cards I make. We have some of my revision cards right here. So this is chapter 1, and what I'll do, at the top I will write the spec point. It's not really a specification, but in the workbook, which is the online textbook, it gives you like 1.1, 2.2, that sort of thing. So I think it's really handy to write those down at the top of your flashcard so you know what spec point this relates to. So that's that. Here I just made a table because there were 2 different things, and I used one colour for one side, another colour for the other side. I will use purple for definitions, just go underlining them, not underlining, circling them, sorry. I'll use a mixture of blue and black ink there. Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of system that I've formatted. Whatever you do in terms of like definitions, how you write things, if you make tables, the colours you use, try and keep it consistent throughout. To be honest, these are very similar to my GCSE science flashcards. So if you just want to learn how I make these flashcards, I would suggest watching that, like even if you don't do science, just because I go through the way I make flashcards in there pretty well. I can put it in the eye above just so that you see. I'll probably link it at the end of the video as well. And that's just my main form of revision, to be honest. I will literally just write them out as I go. That's how I learn the content. I don't necessarily use them afterwards to go over them. Like, I won't sit there going through all of them because I just think that it's way too much content to be able to do that. So what I do is, firstly I take a break after making all the flashcards because it takes a long time. And then the break will probably be like a day or 2 depending on, you know, how I feel. And then what I'll do is go to the question book that icaew provide you with, and I'll just go through all the questions in there. So what I recommend you do is literally just take a notebook, or I took a refill pad as my notebook, and I noted exactly what question it was, where in the chapter, and I did the question, marked it. If I didn't understand it or I got it wrong, I would put a circle around it or I'd write the answer from the mark scheme. That way that if you do want to go back and look at your question afterwards, it's right there in front of you. Once you've done it once, take a break and then do the whole question bank again. It seems tiresome, but honestly, it's the only way that you're actually going to get practice. Back when I was starting qualification, I also got these things right here. And basically, they are just flashcards given to you, just ready-made flashcards. And they are done by BPP Learning Media. I think they're one of the tuition providers. I got those off eBay, even though they're the 2020 exam ones. And I have seen 2021 flashcards, so if you want to get them, you can. I don't think they're completely worth it though, because yes, you have ready-made flashcards, yes, it's going to save you time, but you're really learning the content. Because at the end of the day, you actually have to learn the content. And personally for me, flashcards is the way to do that. Any other form of notes can help you, but that's your choice. Oh, also make sure you do all the questions within the actual workbook itself, because that way what you're doing is solidifying everything that you're learning right now. Again, nicely in a notebook, not just in your head, not just on scrap pieces of paper. After that, after doing the question bank twice, what I did for accounting this was, I didn't do this for assurance, basically reached out to a tutor and worked with them for a very short period of time. I think it was a week or two. I think we had a few classes during each week. And I just went to him and asked, how do you do this question? Did over Zoom, looked at the question bank together. He told me how I should answer it, gave me the logic behind it, and I wrote down any new points that he'd given me and just how to do that question in my notebook. I found that once I had done that, I was a lot more understanding of the topic and I understood more how to apply the content to the question. So you can do something like that. Okay, now finally what you need to do is go to the icaew website and go to the exam resources page for the relevant module. There should be a sample paper link and you can do the exam right there and then. You can do the exam multiple times if you wish, and yeah, I would suggest that you do that, because it's one thing to be able to do the questions from the question book and it's another thing to be able to do similar questions under timed conditions and under that exam pressure. Try not to go into an exam, a real exam, without having done that sample exam. I think that if you have time and if you aren't completely fed up of the module, do it more than once. Okay, now I'm just going to talk about how difficult I thought the exams were. So out of assurance, accounting and principles of taxation, which I'm currently doing, I would say that the assurance one was fairly easy. There wasn't much to it. It was just memorizing content, and I think it's a good first one, or one of the first ones you can start with. I think it gives you a nice like push into it all. Accounting was a lot harder. The only reason I did accounting next was because people said that you should do accounting and assurance together. It's a lot more skill. There's not that much memorizing content in comparison to assurance. Also, a lot of people don't pass accounting first time. I think that's got the lowest pass rate out of all the cfab modules, so that's another thing. And then next we have the principles of taxation module that I'm currently doing. From what I've seen so far, I've finished chapter 4 today actually out of 13. The module is very much a mixture of accounting and assurance. Like, it's similar to assurance in the fact that you have to memorize things. There's a lot of tax rules that you have to memorize, but it's also got that element of skill that accounting has. I mean, those are my opinions. At the end of the day, yours might be different, but yeah, I can't say for the rest of them yet because I haven't done them. There are also other blogs ranking the difficulty of the exams. That's something I used to decide which exams I was going to do first. I've shown you the BPP flashcards as well. I also ordered a Kaplan accounting workbook. So there are other things like that, especially on eBay. There's loads of different resources that you can buy to help you with your revision. But remember, it's not about how many resources you buy, it's about how well can that information stick in your brain. But that is it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and if you have any requests for similar videos, if you have any requests for any finance or accounting type videos, I'd be happy to make them. So from now on, I kind of want to take this channel towards personal development and self-growth, and also because I'm starting university in 2 months, I want to start focusing on that a bit more as well. So any requests you have to do with those 3 topics, would be great. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. And also, if you want updates on my ACA journey, then follow me on Instagram and LinkedIn in particular. I hope you enjoyed this video and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!